except for an emergency. Keep an extra flashlight, food, and water in your vehicle in case of an emergency. Snow accumulation 10 inches. Well, I don't think that one worked out well. But anyway, I was very tempted, but I didn't do it. This winter has been a difficult winter in terms of other winters, but if a lot of you in the room can recall back to 1967, I was going to bring some slides in from that one, and 79, that was another one. So everything has to be taken in terms of a relative reference point, I guess. I did have an announcement. I wanted to clarify something more than anything else. The fitness group here at Sun City runs off of the high school schedule. So if the high school is closed, all of their classes are canceled. And I wanted to clarify that the computer club doesn't do that. We work on the basis of if the lodge is open and we have an event scheduled, we'll do our best to fulfill that event. And I know there's a lot of talk back and forth with temperatures last week and what have you, and snow today, blah, 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 blah. We do our best effort to make sure we know as soon as possible if the lodge is going to be closed. Now, last week, we had a, excuse me, we had an Apple iPad class that was on Wednesday morning, and it was very well attended. We'll have to address whether we'll have another one because it was so well attended. We had about 40, 45 people there. Because of that, we didn't get a chance to get all the names into our database for notification for the Apple group on Tuesday. So what we want to do is make sure that if you attended that class and you're interested in the Apple group meets on Tuesdays at 9 o'clock, Fountain View breakout room, and we'll be meeting next Tuesday. And you're welcome to join us, and then we will go forward from there. But the Apple group meets every Tuesday, 9 o'clock, in the breakout room of the Fountain View. The other thing, I don't think this applies to most of us, but I suppose I should read it anyway. Crystal Lake Police Department has sent out a bulletin saying there have been several reports of residents who received calls from various companies saying their computers may be hacked, etc., 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 and please give them information on that we're going to fix your computer. I presume that everyone in this room is knowledgeable enough to know that when someone calls and says, just give me access to your computer and everything will be all right, you will be somewhat suspect of that. But please spread that room around, that information around to your neighbors who may not be quite as astute as you are to this sort of exposure. And if someone raises a question about getting a call or something, you might want to tell them that in this case, the Crystal Lake Police Department is looking into that. So with that, I also make a note. We have a reasonable supply of donuts left. So if during my part of the presentation, not Bob's because you want you to concentrate on that, if you care to have another donut, please feel free to go up and get it. Please, as you leave, take a look if there's donuts there. If you want a donut this afternoon, watching television or something, take a donut. Because we don't really want to have a lot of donuts left, but we do have, a few back there right now, I have to say. So, anyway, going on and moving forward. I think our agenda doesn't change much, but some of the items would. And we'll go into our financial report. We're solid, and I'm very proud of the fact that, and I think you should all be proud of the fact of the contributions we make to the food pantry. There's actually 3 years in which we've contributed over $2,000 a year to the Grafton Food Pantry. And it's important to know that when money is contributed to the food pantry, they can do a lot more of that than they can really with food product itself, because they have significant significant purchasing power multiples because of the Northern dispensary, and that's very good for them. I'm also amazed. We have 1,467 members. We're going to have a lottery to see who's the 1,500th. No, not really. But at any rate, we have to make an announcement that just to clarify things, the lab has been very busy. We haven't had a lot of excess time. And yet we have had some people bring computers in that didn't belong to them. They belonged to their children, their grandchildren, whatever. Neighbors who weren't members. Really want to restrain that because that's not the intent of the club. The intent of the club is to service our members and service them as best we can. Whenever that happens, we're detracting away from the service that we can provide to our members. So we are going to be policing that a little more, and I just want to give everyone a heads up on that. You might mention it to people you know, that the clubs, our membership dues are pretty reasonable all the way through, and we really want to restrict our services to those who belong to the club. Also, we have a class on this Kindle and Surface, Microsoft Surface. Those classes on February 12th are going to be in Meadowview in the old Gallon Room. We moved them out of the, we moved all the tablet classes out of the lab because we felt that they're more lecture than not, and also we felt we were going to get good attendance, such as the 40-some people we had at the iPad class. Obviously, we couldn't deal with that in the lab. So we got 3 rooms for the 3 classes. In March, there'll be one on Android as well. At this stage in the game, asking Maria for rooms is, it is a take as they can because the rooms get booked up. So in this case, we're going to be over in Bellevue. The other class in March on Android will be in Fountain View. It'll be in Fountain View. So, okay. We also wanted to ask the membership, if you have interesting things or things that are of interest to you, topics for these general meetings, please send Frank or myself or any of the officers for that matter, information about those things that you'd like to hear about. Because we sit down at the board meeting, we go through and we select topics for our general meeting, and sometimes we have input, sometimes we don't. But the more input we can get, the happier we are. Makes things easier for us, number one, and number two, it satisfies the needs of the community. So if you have ideas that you'd like to see covered in one of our general meetings, please let us know and we'll pursue that. If you're buying a Windows 8 computer or upgrading from a 7 to an 8, 8 relies a lot, let's say, put it this way, to use a lot of the benefits of Windows 8, you have to go into the SkyDrive and into the cloud a bit. And when you first sign on and set up on a new machine, or if you upgrade to an 8 or 8.1, one of the things in the setup that's going to ask you for your Windows account or your Microsoft account. You don't have, you can bypass that. If you do, you bypass a lot of features and you have to go back and set it up later on, and it gets to be a little bit more messy. Before you do this, you can go on any computer, open the account, so that when you go and register, when you set up the Windows 8 accounts in the setup, you have that information, you can put it in, and it's just much smoother all the way through. We talked about this last month, just repeating it. You'll notice the computers in the lab have been moved to the aisle side, where they always used to be in the middle, and that's to create somewhat of a bigger buffer. That we've had problems with people tripping over the legs of those tables. We don't want anyone to get hurt. We also still continue to have a problem with 8.1 downloads. We have not solved this problem. Microsoft has not helped us solve this problem, and Microsoft actually has not solved this problem. There is a time constraint in the lab if we get more than one machine downloading a significant file at a time, and this is a significant file. At this point, we do not know of any way other than downloading to an individual machine to upgrade from 8 to 8.1. We thought we could do it with a disk that we could download, and then we found that that wouldn't work on anything that was EOM, or if you bought a new computer, EOM version 8 on there, it wouldn't work on that. So you have to do this yourself at home. We'll be glad to show you how to do it. We'll be glad to work with you here in the lab and show you how to go through the process, but the time spent, the hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever it is, to make that upgrade, we just can't tie up our internet access to slow it down too much for our staff, more than one machine doing that at a time. We don't have a lot of community matters, mainly because the President's Council meeting is next week. It's always the first Friday of the month, and we're Johnny on the spot in our meeting on the first day of the month, so that's going to be deferred. But I did want to mention there will be a board meeting on February 19th. Next town hall meeting will be in March. Cam is now taking reservations for garden spots for all of you who, in this snowy climate, want to look at garden magazines and catalogs and think ahead to spring. Also, I would point out two things that are on the web, on the CAM website. One, what you would have gotten in your hard copy in your lifestyles, the results of the survey that was taken when you voted for the election. That's in lifestyles. It's also on the web. You can get it on the web. And also, there's a presentation on the new furniture and decorations and what have you for the lodge that's also on the CAM website. So with that, I'd like to introduce Bob Markham.
George,
Yes.
can I say something about this?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, also another feature that we've incorporated now, and we're perfecting today. We learned last week a little bit on angles. This meeting will be available as a video on our website. In fact, we're going to be doing this routinely. All of our meetings, Ken is videotaping, and they'll be on there. You just go to the website, click on the box, and you can see the entire meeting. Each of those will be on there for 1 month, I believe. So in other words, you have, once it's put up today or tomorrow, it'll be up there for a month, so you can review the meeting in its entirety. We managed to changing the angle. We had a little problem last time, the first time we did it, with the angle and reading the slides. So I think we've corrected that this time. Ken's worked on this, and I think it's a real plus on our club, because if someone does not have the ability to come to our meeting for whatever reason, they can catch the whole meeting as a videotape. So with that, I will introduce Bob Markham, who's going to talk to us about Google+.
Thank you. I don't know about this thing, but I'm the guy that they're perfecting the video with. Still has a kind of sound like guinea pig, doesn't it? One thing George forgot to mention is that if you wouldn't mind turning off your the ringer on your mobile phone. When I do seminars, I do kind of have a rule that if your phone does ring during the meeting, then I ask for a $1 donation to the BLF. So just kind of keep that in mind. Oh, the BLF is the Bob Lunch Fund, by the way. Okay. Is it going to work? Oh, there we go. Yes.
The read-write head on a hard drive is supposed to hover above the disk. It can come as close as 3 nanometers, but it can never physically touch the surface. When it does, it's called a head crash, and it sounds like this. Now, that's a very bad noise to hear. It might as well be the sound of your head hitting your desk repeatedly. The hard drive itself spins on tiny bearings. If they wear out or break, your hard drive won't get up to full speed, and it could sound like this.
So, gosh, if you're hearing some funny noises, you might bring your computer into the lab. But now you kind of have an idea. That's kind of cool, isn't it? Now you know what a hard drive looks like, and hear that kind of horrible noise. And if you hear that at home, it might be an indication of something going on. We're going to talk about Google Plus today, but you know, I put up kind of a graphic here that gives you an idea of just how many things there are going on when you start to talk about Google. Because when you're talking about Google, you're talking about Google Chrome, Google Maps, Google Calendar, you're talking about YouTube, you're talking about Google Drive, and down there in the bottom I've got the yellow circle around Google Plus, which is what we're going to talk about today, and then of course Google Voice. So, Google Plus, I think the biggest thing that you might think about is, at first, is I think maybe Google Plus is like Facebook. In many regards it is, but I put up a couple of ideas right here. Google Plus is really a lot more than Facebook. Google Plus is like Skype. Google Plus has the ability to do the same kinds of video meetings and meetups with your family or with your friends or folks across the country. It has the same ability to do those kinds of things that Skype does. And one of the differences might be that with Google Plus, you can have up to 8 folks in one conference, which is pretty cool. Google Plus can be like email, and Google Plus, you'll kind of get an idea of that as we go through the meeting here, but Google Plus is like email, but not like Gmail, and we'll talk about that in a minute. There's interest forums that are part of Google Plus. There's a messenger function within Google Plus, although, boy, you know, probably 5 or 6 or 7 years ago, AOL instant messaging was really the big deal, wasn't it? Everybody was talking about that. Are you doing instant messaging? And you thought, when you first tried it, you thought that was really cool. It's not really too popular anymore, is it? I can't even remember the last time I did anything like instant messaging. In fact, what's probably taken over instant messaging is text messaging on your smartphone, hasn't it? Then we have Facebook. Google Plus is a lot like Facebook, but there are some real differences and some real advantages, and one of those advantages that you can just kind of keep in mind as we go through this meeting this morning is that when I use Google Plus and I use Facebook, but what happens when you do Facebook and you put a message out there? Everybody sees it, and you have no control over who sees it and who doesn't. Isn't that right? We're going to find out in Google Plus that there's something called Google Circles. So you really can begin to control where the messages go that you put out. So if you want to send a message just to your friends, just to your family, just to techie friends, just to club members, you can control just where that message goes using Google Plus, and it doesn't work the same as Facebook, and I think that's a big advantage. But still, if you want to use some person-to-person type communication system for business, LinkedIn is still really the place to be. You know.
Hi, I'm Peter McDonald.
McDermott, and we are here to show you how to sign up for an account on Google.
Can you hear that? No, can you turn it up?
And open our web browser. My favorite's Chrome. So we'll go ahead and open Google Chrome. Here we are on the Google page, and we'll go to sign in. Don't have an account yet, so if I click on the left, I can create an account for free. Right here, we'll go ahead and type in some information. And we're going to choose a username. We're going to try to be as unique here as we can.
This is about how you signed up for Google Plus.
Okay, so we'll try Peter the Geek McDermott. Okay, it looks like somebody else already has that. So we'll go with McDermott P6. Let's try that. And we'll create a password. Make sure your password is secure. And go ahead and enter your birthday. And your gender. And put your mobile phone number in. The reason you want to do this is so if you lose your password, you can get a text message with it. It's going to ask you for your other email address. You can put in whatever you already have access to. Once again, in case you lose your password, it'll send your account information there. The next thing is a CAPTCHA. Just enter what we think we can see there. Sometimes these are tricky. All you have to do is click the speaker button. It'll actually read it aloud to you. So once you've read the terms and service and the privacy policy, you're all set to go ahead and check that you agree. And it's going to ask you if you want to use your +1 data to help tailor ads, meaning when you're on websites other than Google, you might see some relevant stuff. That's fine with me. So we'll go to the next step. Okay, here we're going to create our profile. As we can see, we don't have a picture yet, so let's go ahead and add a profile photo. I don't have a picture to upload, but I do have a webcam, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, and there we are. Okay, so just like that, we have a profile pictures. We're going to go ahead and set that. And that's going to be used on our Google Plus profile, which we're going to show you in just a minute here. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and go to the next step. Okay, so we're all set, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, so here we are. We're back at Google. We're signed in. Now to get to Google Plus, all you have to do is click the plus next to your name up there. So here we are, Google Plus. We'll sign in, use the password that we created. Bingo! Here we are. We're in Google Plus. This is where we can go ahead and find people we might already know through our Yahoo or Hotmail address. We'll go ahead and skip that. There are a couple people that I do want to find. One of those is Robert Anderson. There we go. We're going to add him to my friend circle. He's one of my friends. Okay. And I also like to add myself. And I want you guys to add me when you sign up too, because I'm happy to answer questions and help you guys get started. So there I am right there. Go ahead and add myself to my friend circle. And then there's another guy I want to add, Ken Smith. Let's see if we can find him. Well, I don't see the one I'm looking for, so we'll have to search elsewhere. Alright, so we've added a couple people to our circles. It's going to give us the suggested users list. These are some other people we can add based on common interests. Okay, we're going to go ahead and continue. Alright, now here we'll enter our school, which is the University of Hard Knocks. And I work in corporate America as a grunt. And I live in Nashville. Okay. So later we can change our privacy settings to determine who can see that stuff and who can't. Now there's one other person I want to add, that's Ken Smith. So we'll go into the search window up here, type in his name, and hit enter to search. Okay, and there he is, Ken Smith. So I'm going to go ahead and add him to my circles under friends. And there we have it. We've already got 3 friends. We're on Google+. And there's all sorts of things we can do. There's Take You Back Home, which is where you'll see the stream in the middle. Anything posted by anybody we have circled will appear there. You can select different circles here and do other things on the right-hand side, like starting a Hangout, which is one of the coolest things you can do on Google+. But that's another story. Watch the full video to get a tutorial on how to start Hangouts and how to get working on Google+.
Right here is looking at my Gmail page, and I put a red circle up there. It says plus Bob. And if I click on plus Bob when I use Gmail, and you don't have to use Gmail, but if you happen to, you'll see that up there. And if I click plus Bob, there is my Google Plus homepage. And you can see that I can share things. And one interesting thing that I just mentioned before is you see it says share what's new. There's a text, photos, links, videos, events. We're not going to talk about events, but you can create events in Google+. If I click on text, I can type a text message in there, and I can send that text message to a specific person that's got a Google+ account, or I can send that message to one of my circles, which is really cool, which is different than Facebook, isn't it? Because now in Google+, I can target where messages go. Or I can actually send a message to everybody, to all my, everybody in all of my circles. We're gonna talk about circles in a second too. Okay, Google Circles. Google Circles are really the heart of how Google Plus works. And Google Circles are based on your relationship to people. And so you can have circles that are my friends, my family. Yes, thank you. By the way, this thing is the weirdest thing in the world, isn't it? You know, get these wires in your head. Is it still echoing? Yeah. Do I need to stand someplace different?
Yeah.
Push it out.
No.
Is that better? No?
No. Come.
Yes. No.
Bob.
Whatever.
Bob.
What? Over here.
Move this way. Try that.
Oh, is that better?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. Now I can push this back again, maybe. You can have Google Circles. Now I feel like I'm gonna put it back again. Oops. I can yell too. How's that? Okay. You can have Google Circles that are based on, you know, your church friends, friends here at Sun City, your relatives from West Undershirt, New Jersey, your, you know, club members. You can have Google Circles that are based on any kind of relationship that you have with different people. And here's a little video about circles.
Your world is filled with circles. Your family, your friends, your coworkers. Some of these circles overlap, and some are completely separate. On Google+, circles are the online reflections of your real-world connections. Circles make it easy to choose exactly who can and can't see each thing you post to Google+, because sometimes you don't want to share the same things with your coworkers as you do with your close friends. Circles mean you don't have to wonder or worry. But circles are not just for people you know. You can use your following circle to keep up with anyone who shares things about the subjects you're interested in. Celebrities, experts, companies, anyone you find interesting, captivating, or insightful can go into your following circle. Let's take a look at how this all ties together. Mary belongs to a book club. She shares book reviews with her book club circle, which includes everyone in the club. When she learns that Jim from book club shares her love of the great outdoors, she adds Jim to her camping circle. Since Jim is in both her book club and camping circles, he sees her posts about books as well as her posts about camping, while the other members of the club only see her posts about books. After a few camping trips and more than a few mosquito bites, Mary adds Jim to her best friend circle. Now Jim can see all of Mary's posts about books and camping, as well as the things that she only shares with her closest friends. In addition to your personal circles, there are 3 special circles that you can use to share with a wider audience. Your circles includes everyone in all of your circles. Your extended circles includes everyone in all of your circles, as well as everyone in their circles. While public includes anyone on the web, public posts can also appear in search results. So whether you want to whisper a story to your friends or shout an opinion from the rooftops, circles make it easy to share what you want with who you want.
All right, this is what my Google Circles look like. And you can see that I have family, friends, and actually that circle on the lower left-hand side is called Bob's Tech Tips. And I have a circle of friends that usually twice a week I send out Bob's Tech Tips. And one that I'm going to send out later today that I haven't sent out yet is about Yahoo was hacked about 3 days ago, and I don't know if you're aware of that or not, but if you're using Yahoo for email, I really encourage you to go in when you get home today or tomorrow and change your Yahoo password. And I know that at the computer club and in the lab we're talking about passwords constantly, and I'm not sure that we can really talk about it too often. So I really want to encourage you to remember you need good passwords. So what's a good password? At least 8 characters, at least 1 number or more, at least a symbol, at least a capital letter. And I know it's complicated, and it's not like remembering 123 Main Street, but you need good passwords. And this happens to be a post that I did earlier this week on my Bob's Tech Tip circle. And this happens to be about a new attack called watering hole attacks. I don't know if you've heard of those, but they're pretty important. And you know, if you want to get Bob's Tech Tips, well, send me an email, join my circle. One thing that we're going to talk about Hangouts, and Hangouts are a lot like Skype. And we'll show a little video of that in a second. And Hangouts are merely people talking to other people, your family, your friends, your acquaintances, whether they're here or whether they're in Europe. And I talk to folks in Europe more than once a week. And Google Plus is handy for that. It's very similar to Skype. And the one difference is that you can have conversations with multiple people in Google Hangouts. You do need a plug-in, and don't worry about even writing that down. If you want to, that's fine, but you'll need a plug-in, and there's where the plug-in is located. If you just type into your Google search box, Hangout plug-in, then you'll end up going to that page, and you'll see download plug-in, and then you'll see that it'll say thanks for trying Google Audio and Video Calls. You'll see something down there that says run, and it's safe, so go ahead and click on run and run that. And it's very quick, doesn't take any time at all.
Hi, this is Justin Lucasavage, and I want to show you what it looks like to start a Google Hangout. I've got plus.google.com up here in my browser, and then so this is what Google Plus looks like. So I'm going to show you what it looks like to actually start the Hangout, and then sort of what it looks like, what you're going to look for when that Hangout is started. Now I have a few circles here. So I'm going to show you how to add a circle here. On the left-hand side, you'll see Find People. And a circle is just this collection of people. And so what I'm going to do is go to click on Circles at the top, and you'll see that I have a number of circles here. You can create a new circle, and then these are all of the people that I'm friends with. So I can take people and just drop them anywhere that I want. So what you're going to do if you're the leader of a group is you're going to create a circle. In fact, you can just grab somebody and drop it right there and call it whatever you want. Then when you're on your home screen, up on the upper right here, you'll see Start a Hangout. So I'm actually going to do that. And then when you click on that, this is the screen that you're going to get. Now, when you click here, this says add names, circles, or email addresses. You can go through. These are all the circles that I have. So if I wanted to do this board of director group, I just click on it, and it's going to invite everybody there. I'm actually just going to invite one person, and you can do that with an email address. So I've got Kevin Miller here, and I'm going to just add him. So he will be the only one that sees this notification. I can name it if I want. Enable Hangouts on Air. This will make that public, and you can also publish it to your YouTube channel if you like. So I'm going to click on Hangout, and then this is the screen that you'll see. You've got a few options up on the right. So Kevin right now has a notification. Now, your notification, if you have G+ open here, your notification will show up in your stream. If you have Gmail open, it will also show up there. You'll also get an email if your settings are correct. So you'll see your audio level right here. You can mute your microphone by doing that. This is turning your camera off so you can mute your video, and then this is what people will see. You can adjust your bandwidth usage, and then you've got settings here. So I can control which camera I'm using, audio, and then default device for sound. And then this button will make me hang up. Okay, and this is what it'll look like when Kevin comes in here. How's it going, Kevin? Good. That's perfect. So you can change things. If I click right here on me, it's going to bring me up, and you'll see there's a blue box around me here. If I click it again, it gives priority to whoever's talking except yourself. So I'm talking, it's not going to put me up. If you've got 8 people and want to bring just one person up, you just click on them. There's a blue box around it here. And so Kevin's just going to automatically remain up there. A couple things that anybody can do. I can mute Kevin's microphone here. And so anything that Kevin says isn't going to come across, and I can unmute Kevin. And I'm not sure, Google is adding some stuff, so I've ignored Kevin Miller. And I'm going to cancel that and bring it back up. We've got a chat here, so I can click on this chat. Oops. And it's going to open this up, and we can talk with each other here on the right. So if we're sharing a link or something, I can do that over here on the right. We can do a screen share. You've got some effects that will let you play with. You can bring in docs from your drive. And then when you click on more apps here, you're going to get a ton of stuff that pops up if you want to have some fun and play around in your Google Hangout. And there's Kevin back up. So that's how you do Google Hangout. Let us know if you've got any questions. This is Kevin, and I'm Justin.
Oops. That's pretty cool, isn't it? You know, and I know you're sitting here like, oh my gosh, how am I going to figure all this out? But you know what? If you use Skype, the first time you thought, oh my gosh, how am I going to figure all this out? All these settings and all this. But you know what? You figure it out, don't you? And the functionality is a lot like Skype. It just works a little bit different. And you'll figure it out. It's not hard. Ask us at the lab. We'll help you with it. One interesting thing is that, similar to Skype, is that Hangouts in Google Plus can work on your Android device, on your iPad, on your iPhone. They work on computers and notebooks, and they work in a lot of different places. And when I say they work, that just means that someone could be on an iPad doing this video conferencing, and somebody else could be on a notebook computer, and somebody else could be on an Android smartphone. So Google Plus runs on all of those different devices, which is pretty cool, you know. And what we're doing here is we're talking about another part of Google Plus, which is photos. And here's the main menu that I clicked on. And you can manage all of your photos within Google Plus. Isn't that great? So here's my Google Plus, and I'm looking through all kinds of photos there. My wife is here, and she's gonna tell me that you have me on the screen, and I'm really sorry, honey. But anyway, it's really great. All within one place, you can manage all your photos. I think that's really cool. You can manage your photo albums, and you can upload photos. And remember, we're all inside Google Plus right now. And then I just go over to the left, that menu pops up, and I go back home again, right where I started. My Google Plus home screen. Now, here's something else. It's part of Google Plus, called Google Local. So if I go over to the home screen, come on, over to the home screen, there we go. Go down to Google Local. Guess what it's gonna do? It's gonna give me information about, it's gonna know my address, and it's gonna give me information about local restaurants, local stores, local places to shop. Oh, I don't know why I got Jim Nelson popping up there. I'm sorry, Jim, making you famous here. You know, I know that people have talked about, when we did some surveys last year as part of the website committee, people were interested in like Angie's List kind of thing. You know, well, here's another place you can go to get information about local businesses. And it's all part of Google Plus. And if you go on the menu on the left-hand side, you'll see Google Local.
Hey, Mom, what do you say to a game of tennis?
Come on, Grandma. With you on our side, the boys don't stand a chance.
Okay, I'll get my racket. On second thought, I think I better sit this one out.
You kids go ahead. I want to have a talk with your old grandma. You're still having control problems, aren't you?
I just don't feel confident, Harvey.
Come with me. I'll let you in on a little secret.
Yes, I've heard of those. Do they work?
Oops, I crapped my pants. Outperformed every bladder and battle control product on the market today. Here, let me show you. Now imagine this pitcher of iced tea is really a gallon of your feces. Now see how it's super thick fluff down here allows for maximum absorbency without leaking.
I'm impressed. Oops, I crap, my pants can hold a lot of dung.
And get this. Oops, I crapped my pants are biodegradable. Now that's good for the environment.
See, how do you know so much about oops, I crap my pants?
I'm wearing them, and I just did.
Thanks, oops, I crap my pants.
If you don't perform the system, just say, oops, I crap my pants.
Okay. Questions? Did you have fun with that? Yeah, good.
Bob, if I want to get friends that are somewhere out there into my new Google Plus that I download, suppose I want you as my friend, but can you decline me or can I decline you if you request me
Yes.
to be your friend?
Yes, you
Oh.
can.
Okay,
You just don't respond. Yeah, exactly right.
okay, thanks.
Sure.
Anybody else with questions? Okay, one thing I'd like to mention is that all the pictures you've seen are the same pictures that you have in your Picasa web album. So if you have Picasa, all those pictures are up there. And if you have Picasa, you'll be forced, sort of speaking, to join, because they give you a lot more storage. Now, I think they've raised it to 15 gig of storage if you're a Plus member, and that includes all your Gmail and photographs. So that's a lot of free storage. We used to get 1 gig. ad-free, and you could add to it. So they're giving you that, plus, if you store pictures that are bigger than, it'll give you a ability to store unlimited pictures that don't count against the storage limit, that are 20 by 2080 pixels wide, 2800 and 2080 pixels wide, maximum, which will print out like a 5x7 picture really sharp. And maybe an 8x10, it might look good, depending on the subject matter a little bit. So you can back up your pictures to the web at that free rate, and it's unlimited. All the pictures you want, you can put up there. So that is a real good thing. So, that's it.
No other questions?
How often do updates occur, and how do you get them downloaded? Or does Google Plus update anything?
Constantly. Yeah, constantly. You'll get updates, because this is all web-based, and you'll get a new feature, and you'll say, where'd that come from? Well, it came from the web. So that's the good advantage of web-based programs. You get the current updated system. If it's a major one, they'll tell you. If it's minor, you can figure it out. You know, if they don't tell you. A lot of times they'll just sneak them in.
Maybe this is a stupid question, but you said, at one time you said you were on, Gmail rather than Google Plus, and I'm like, do you have to use both? Can you use one, just Google Plus, or do you have to keep using Gmail too?
Oh, you don't have to use Gmail, bottom line. But you have to have a Google Plus account, which is essentially going to give you a Gmail account. I mean, if you register for any type of Google service, it's the same login information any place you go for any type of Google service, and that's all the way from YouTube to Google Plus to Gmail.
Yeah, if you have Picasa, you're already in. If you've got a Picasa account and you already have put pictures up on the web, you have the Gmail account. You have a Picasa account. It's all the same. Yeah.
If you presently have a Gmail account, will that also serve when you go into Google Plus, or do you have to add a new password?
No, it's the same. If you have a Gmail account, it's the same password for Google Plus. Yeah.
If you have any Google account, it's basically one account from all services, from calendar to everything.
Yeah, once you're signed in, you're signed in.
Do you have any other questions? Yes, we have two questions.
I have two Gmail accounts. One I use for business and outside stuff, and then I have my other personal one for friends, family, that kind of thing. So when I go to Google Plus, which one should I use to log in?
I think you want to use your personal account is my guess. And the reason why, because most often in Google Plus, what you're going to have is circles. So you might have circles for friends, for family, for clubs, for organizations, for some city, for church-related things, which are generally going to be not the ones you would want to associate with business.
We have one more back there, Frank. While we're waiting on that, I would remind everyone that there are donuts in the back. Feel free to take some donuts home. Enjoy the donuts at home. They'll keep you warm.
And don't forget there are donuts in the back.
Yes, there are donuts in the back. Go ahead, yes.
I was wondering, is it possible to keep the videos of the meetings on for more than 30 days?
Ken, I believe that's 30 days is our limit, is that right?
Right now, the service that I'm using is a free service. I'll keep it up there for 30 days. What I'm trying to do, and I've downloaded last month's presentation, and I've got it on that computer. I'm trying to decide where to put it, and then I'll link to it from the Computer Club webpage, so that hopefully we'll build a history of every month's presentation. So I'm still working on it. This is a fairly new process. I'm working on some of the bugs.
And more than fairly new, this is brand new. We tried it last month, and this is the second time. And what Ken's trying to do is a workaround from not paying, I believe, $122 a month. Is that-
$99.
Yeah, so that's what we're trying to avoid. Okay, any other questions? Yes?
Yes, when I log into my Gmail account lately, I get a pop-up screen that says about auto backup. It insists that it's wanting me to do an auto backup for Chrome or whatever. What does it want to back up?
I don't think that has anything to do with Gmail. I haven't seen that.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it's a new feature that they're coming out with. You give it to this certain group right now. It's not across the board yet. It's a backup like anything else. It's going to back it up to the cloud. It will take anything on your computer and back it up. It's most likely good. It most likely will use some of the information for advertising, which Google has a tendency to do, but it doesn't really matter because it doesn't tie you to it. It just says that, you know, if you have a whole bunch of stories in your computer that are about gardening, messages were sent to you by other people that represented a gardening club, let's say. Next month, you'll start getting seed advertisements when you go on certain pages. And it might not necessarily, it'll be some page that says ads provided by Google. So all it does is know your general things. And it makes the computer more useful because it puts things relevant to you. So it's a toss-up between giving them the right to scan your stuff to do that. And pretty much everybody's doing it to some degree. Being Google's the biggest, they're getting the most noise about it. And they might have been maybe the most open about their doing it, at least in recent times. Not originally, but I think it is now.
Okay, well, I'd like to ask everybody to come back next month. Our presentation is going to be on apps, which is the future of computing. Should be very interesting. And Peggy has one last question.
I just want to ask if there's anybody willing to help wipe the tables. We're a little short of help. We're up here with these cloths, or to fold the tablecloths. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, everybody keep warm. Don't slide around too much. Enjoy the pristine snow.